Welcome to a Bible study from Lutheran Church in the Foothills. My name is Chuck Pinnell, and it's my privilege to share with you about the Star of Bethlehem, the Epiphany season. Epiphany means, it's a Greek word meaning the revealing, the manifestation, and the appearance. It's the appearance of Jesus Christ to all the nations. Of course, it's a celebration of the visit of the Magi. The gospel is from Matthew 2, verses 1 through 12. In the time of King Herod, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, Where is the child who has been born King of the Jews? For we observed his star at its rising, and have come to pay him homage. When King Herod heard this, he was frightened, and all Jerusalem with him. And calling together all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Messiah was to be born. They told him, In Bethlehem of Judea, for so it has been written by the prophet. And you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For from you shall come a ruler who is to shepherd my people Israel. Then Herod secretly called for the wise men and learned from them the exact time when the star had appeared. Then he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, Go and search diligently for the child, and when you have found him, bring me word so that I may also go and pay him homage. And when they had heard the king, they set out. And there ahead of them went the star that they had seen at its rising, until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy, and on entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they knelt down and paid homage. Then, opening their treasure chests, they offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they left for their own country by another road. There's nothing, of course, in Matthew about the Magi being kings. Nothing about three kings. It doesn't say how many were there, how many Magi. There's no names or nationalities are given. But we could spend a week describing the traditions attached to the Magi, the kings, and their visit. A Magi is the name of a very ancient caste of astrologers in Persia. Persia, of course, being the ancient and classical name for modern Iran. An ancient Persian, Zoroaster, was of the caste of Magi. He gave his name to Zoroastrianism, which was dominant in Persia before Islam. The Greeks borrowed the word Magi to name wise men. So what about the Star of Bethlehem and that the Magi followed? Well, the appearance of stars has always been considered as announcements of the birth of great men. You even run into that in Julius Caesar by Shakespeare. In Numbers 24:17, however, there's the great story of Balaam. And Balaam prophesies that a star will rise out of Jacob and a king will be the result. And let me tell you, if you want to read a great story, start with Numbers 22. There's a wonderful story, beloved of boys throughout the ages, with the intriguing title, Balaam and His Ass. It's one of the greatest and funniest stories in God's Word. Read it. We hear about convergences of stars that were said to occur about the time Christ was born. We hear about comets that might have appeared at that time. There's a new star that appeared at that time that was mentioned in the Dead Sea Scrolls. But curiously, there's no historical record besides what we read in Matthew 2 and just those few accounts. However, Son of the Star is a translation from the Hebrew, the name of a man called Bar Kokhba, the leader of the disastrous revolt of the Jews against the Roman Empire. The star of Matthew 2 is a mystery, but it perfectly fulfills the prophecy of Isaiah chapter 60, verses 1 through 7. Isaiah says, "Arise, shine, for your star, arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. For darkness shall cover the earth, and thick darkness the peoples. But the Lord will arise upon you, and his glory will appear over you. And nations shall come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your dawn. Lift up your eyes and look around. They all gather together. They come to you. Your sons shall come from far away, and your daughters shall be carried on their nurses' arms. Then you shall see and be radiant, and your heart shall thrill and rejoice, because the abundance of the sea shall be brought to you. The wealth of the nations shall come to you. A multitude of camels shall cover you, the young camels of Midian and Ephah, and all those from Sheba shall come, and they shall bring gold and frankincense, and shall proclaim the praise of the Lord." And at the ending of God's word in Revelation chapter 22, verse 24, we read, "The nations will walk by its light, and the glory and the kings of the earth will bring their glory into it." Of course, that's speaking of Jerusalem, but it also speaks of Jerusalem as a great light. Of course, if you ask any Christian kid in the world, they'll tell you about the Three Kings Day. It's celebrated on January 6th. That's Epiphany Day. And that's the day when it is said that the three kings visited Christ. And if you're a kid of any age, that's when you get your Christmas presents. But only if you're good. Otherwise, it is universally acknowledged and affirmed that naughty people get a lump of coal. Now, Clement Clark Moore, who of course wrote "'Twas the Night Before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse." Moore led us astray. So we get Christmas presents on Christmas Day, unless, like myself, you happen to marry into a Scandinavian family. Then, if you're good, you get presents on Christmas Eve. One of my favorite hymns is "Brightest and best of the stars of the morning, guide us and give us your aid. Star of the east, your beauty shining, lead to the place where the Christ child is laid." Thank you for watching. Now, at Lutheran Church in the Foothills, we worship in person every Sunday at 10 a.m. We're at 1700 Highland Boulevard in La Cañada. We follow scrupulously all safety precautions. Our worship is also streamed online from our website at www.lcifoothills.com, or just search on Google for a Lutheran Church in the Foothills, La Cañada, California. God bless you. And throughout the year, always remember to be good.